Hello, come one, come all. It's once again time for an episode of the Pucksnet postgame show where the
Yep.
Vancouver Canucks lose. And
Oh, did
all
they ever, Ryan? Did they ever?
I was getting ready to once again for the third or fourth time in these playoffs, right? Rip up the format sheet, disregard all our thoughts and complaints, and just come in and go, well, shit, a win's a win, is a win is a win is a win. You just got to win in the playoffs, baby. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
pretty, etc., etc. Well, shit, that didn't happen tonight. My name is Ryan Chapp. I'll be your host for the evening, and my co-host, the Prince of Pomegranate, the man himself, Mr. Arash Mamarzadeh. We have things we're going to rant about tonight. And before we get to that, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Please fill that up with your thoughts. We will get to you. We will... We want to hear your thoughts on the game. We want to hear your thoughts on the Canucks. We want to hear your thoughts on where the series is going. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications, all that influencer stuff. But yeah, the Vancouver Canucks
Ryan,
lose.
you look like you need a cigarette. I'm sorry. You just look like if there ever was a time for you to bring the Alberta back in you, pal.
Back in grade
it's a
7
game
when I
like-
smoked.
Oh, pal, look at you.
Yeah, that was I wouldn't mind if we just kind of start at the beginning here. Start at the beginning
Okay.
of the game, or starting on the last 48 hours, where this market seemed high on the hog. They've rattled, the Sakaris and Price question. Your 650 questions are the Oilers desperate? Are they reeling? Calvin Pickard. I mean, depending on who you heard, Calvin Pickard was barely a goaltender. He would not be able to function in the net. There was no other option. He would have let in 15, 20 goals easily based on what we all kind of thought going in. It wasn't the case. Here we are. He had a shutout going through about 45 minutes. And yeah, that game absolutely stunk to high heaven. It started out ugly, Arash. I don't know about you, but I watched this team come out looking like they were skating in quicksand, and that the last thing on their mind was trying to get a shot on goal. What about you?
Yeah. This team did not show up tonight, and they're doing this thing too often where they show up for 5 to 10 minutes, and it's almost like a niche thing, and it's not something to be proud of, and it's not something to look back on and say that this is a close game, and this was, you look at the scoreline, whatever. This wasn't. The Canucks did not show up tonight. The only two players that really showed up tonight in some extended format are Archer Shilovs and Connor Garland. And it's games like tonight where I look at the adjustments that Edmonton has made. So they've removed Nurse and CC from a pairing. So Nurse, I believe, is with DRNA. CC might be with Brett Kulak now. They make that adjustment. They split up Leon and Connor. And now they've taken out Stuart Skinner and put in Calvin Pickard just as a energy thing. All of those things are net positives for the Edmonton Oilers in a series that, no one's gotten massively blown out yet. The Canucks need to make some adjustments here. Top of the list is Ian Cole for this season has been a serviceable guy for the PK, all these things. When the hockey gods in the universe tell you and are showing you the puck does not like this player. That the puck is not the energy, the juju, whatever we talk about, you have to respect it. And there's no analytical side to this. I can't go on Money Puck or Left Wing Lock or Natural Stat Trick and just be like, well, actually, I'm sure someone can make sense of it, but the eye test of literally the fate of the gods is telling you that this is not working. Canucks need to make an adjustment. They need to take him out. I don't care if it's, listen, if they bring in, if you want to even take Noah Juleson out, well, we can talk about Juleson, and thought he was fine for parts of the game, and then he goes chasing hits again, just like Susie did. And that should have been the number one thing with this team, is that do not do that. We cannot have odd man rushes against us if resulting in defensemen chasing neutral zone hits, or trying to hit people coming into the offensive zone. I don't care if it's Christian Wolanin. And listen, we're Christian Wolanin truthers. This market at one point, it shouted from the mountaintops that Christian Wolanin was going to come in and save this organization at one point. So if it's those adjustments, that's fine. It's a best of 3 series now. Canucks have 2 games on home ice to figure this out. That being said, didn't think JT Miller had the greatest night tonight, especially on that 3-2 goal where it was shades of old Millie, where he was just kind of floating a bit. My biggest frustration, Ryan, and it's been building this entire season. I don't know about you, but before I get to it, any thoughts from anything I've said so far?
I was pretty choked with the piss poor effort that this team had offensively. You had a goalie coming in that had no NHL playoff experience. You had a goalie that hadn't played in a very long time, and this was celebrated going in. And when you have an unproven goalie and you have a team reeling and making big changes, you put the pedal to the metal and you drive that play to the offensive zone and you just try to generate as many scoring chances as possible. And that didn't happen. The power plays even went in the Canucks' way. They had 3 power plays in the first period. They had a double minor that resulted in one shot on goal.
Which resulted in one of the worst. I mean, jack shit is being nice, Ryan. It was one of the worst man advantage sequences I've seen in the NHL. I mean, and trust me, like I would at that moment, I would rather have Michael Granlund in the San Jose Sharks, and that's not giving too much shade because that man advantage unit actually was worth a damn. They were nervous, and then the Canucks, what they do is they flip the switch, and it's just like it's too late.
They flipped the switch. They could have flipped the switch at any other point in this game, and there was just an inability to. And there was you're looking at the heat maps. So you're a natural stat trick. You're looking at heat maps that are just all perimeter muffins. Calvin Pickard looked great because he didn't have to do anything.
Absolutely nothing. He literally did not have to do anything and really have anything tonight, and it still made it into a tie game. And 2-2 game. And yeah, like if you don't mind, and I can get into my frustration, I can get into my rant. If you're okay with letting me go.
Well, let's just chat about this actual game for a bit. Your best players were unnoticeable. You think that maybe JT Miller's dealing with something. He didn't look his best. Just real dumb guy stuff happening. Carson Soucy is suspended 1 game, so this is the game that he comes out and everyone just that should be fine. That's only 1 game. They can weather that storm. Well, they didn't weather that storm. They bring in Noah Juleson, who we've had a running gag on our stuff for a while, or this postseason, that there are playoff performers and there are guys that just go balls out and try to lay hits, and you get the reaction from the crowd, but then chances are they put themselves horribly out of position and fumble the ball. That's exactly what Noah Juleson did at his own blue line, trying to lay a huge open ice hit. And what happens? There's a 2-on-1 the other way where Tyler Myers is hung out to dry. Just real dumb guy stuff. The first goal, power play goal, shocker for Edmonton. Connor McDavid drags 3 Canucks to him.
Oh,
including Ian Cole.
Just an insane choice by Ian Cole to leave that position in the diamond, and leave Leon Draisaitl open. I just, again, like, what are, like, if they don't, if going into game 5, if he is not scratched, then I fully, if our friends in Canucks media that are in that scrum do not pinpoint that,
Yeah.
I'm baffled. Like, I'm just completely baffled.
But I don't know. It's really hard to overcome bad bounces when you are literally creating 3 scoring chances through 40 minutes against a team that is it is incredibly easy to strip them off the puck in their defensive zone. It is very easy to gain possession and momentum. But the entire game, they just got hemmed into their defensive zone 2 minutes at a time. It's a regular occurrence for the Canucks, and they had no energy to create anything because they would just be hemmed in for 2 minutes. So, yeah, I'm quite frustrated with the play of Noah Juleson. I'm quite frustrated with the stupid guy stuff that is Ian Cole. There is no problem with goaltending, but there is a huge problem with trying to generate offense. And I was kind of chuckling to myself that, the Canucks, they're going against their narrative, which was they'll have a horrible third period, and instead they'll get that third period out of the way in the first, maybe the second period, and just go guns blazing in the third. And there was nothing. And when they finally do get some confidence, they do get confidence. They do bring some, this is some sustained pressure in the offensive zone, and man, Connor Garland gets a goal. Next thing you know, this team looks like the team they've been all year, like further proving that it is just a confidence issue. They go into this game shook, like they have to win, and they're scared if anything bad happens to them. The second they realize that Calvin Pickard and the Oilers are human, they just start running roughshod, and they can absolutely, they dominate the play for. Oh, let me look at the scoreboard here. They were piling it on for the majority of the third period. They get that tying goal, and yeah, they fumble it. Evan Bouchard comes in on a missed opportunity on a play that on an offensive zone gaff, and it's Evan takes it, and it's a tough one. The score sheet will tell a completely different story. The score sheet says Canucks lose a heartbreaker in the last minute. That's technically true, but this is a game that the Canucks were not in for 48 minutes, and that's the story. It's cute that they tied it, and if they had won the game, we would have big sheet-eating grins on our face. We're like, oh man, by golly, they did it again, and here's all the things we wanted to complain about. Well, now we get to complain about them, and the narrative is what the narrative should be, which is they're not playing full 60-minute games. They're barely playing 20 minutes.
Yeah. And all of this is kind of culminated for me. Like we need to, and we chatted about this before, but we do need to have a serious discussion about Elias Pettersson. And I think within this market, we do need to sit down and have a serious, frank discussion about Elias Pettersson, because this is changing. These playoffs are changing my view of who and what PD is.
Yeah.
The one argument I'm hearing constantly is he's playing with AHL line mates. He's playing with Mikheyev and Lafferty. Well, he's playing with Mikheyev and let's say Lafferty. What can he do with them? Hear me clearly when I say this. When you are making that level of money, it does not matter who the fuck you play with. I'm sorry. I'm done with this. If you are a $5.56 million player on that level and you go into contract negotiations and you say, that level is me. Okay, fine. Michael Nylander, that's who you are. Fine. That's the bar and expectation. But then you go, I'm sorry, Ryan, but then you go and you spend an entire year talking about, again, can't let leverage and fucking negotiation. Can't do this, can't do that. Oh, well, I got to be a top 5 player. Okay, you got the bag. You got the contract. You got everything you wanted. Now, the only player that is dealing with a crippling, debilitating injury on this roster is Thatcher Demko. And now it's the narrative. Well, he's 11.5, but Artemi Panarin, I mean, you know, it's like, oh, he's playing, you know, he's playing with Will Cooley or Matt Rempe. It doesn't matter who you're playing with. At that level, you have to create on your own. You have to. And if Petey's reaction now to all this is kind of like, oh, well, is this Eeyore thing he does? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Because on the other side, you have to listen. I'm not comparing Elias Pettersson to Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, but if we're looking at other series, hell, if it's Rupe Hintz who's been dealing with injuries, if it's Nate McKinnon, look whoever it is in that bracket, even if I could go to like number 2, Wyatt Johnston, Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin, it doesn't matter at that level. You have to create on your own. And he's not doing anything. And this series, he could, honest to God, I don't care if he's on the lotto line, whatever. He's not a facilitator. He's a complimentary winger being paid $11.5 million. And analytically, you can look at it and you can say, oh man, Peter's, where's the alien, Ryan? Where's the alien Botch wrote about? Where is he? Absolutely invisible in this series. Absolutely invisible against the Nashville Predators. And yeah, if he comes out and they say, listen, you know what? Like Vince McMahon, he tore both his quads and he's playing. Okay, that's one thing. But if it comes out after the playoffs, if and when, however far they go, and it's that, yeah, Elias kind of had a little bit of a wrist thing. Then how can we not look at this? Realistically, Ryan, how do we not spend the summer saying to ourselves, in what way do we not look at this 1 year before his extension kicks in where he doesn't have a no trade clause or no movement clause? How do we not say, okay, well, maybe do we have the discussion? And it's in some parts, you know what? Does this turn into a Joe Thornton situation where he plays really shitty against the Montreal Canadiens in what is 04, 05, and then he gets shipped over to San Jose and then he lights the league, whatever, that might be a thing. But at one point, I understand your take, but for the most part, the weight on his shoulders is ridiculous. Yeah, you're paid to bear the weight. That's what your job is. If you don't want to bear the weight and you want to be an outside perimeter player, and you just want to be Phil Kessel on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you want Sid and Malkin and Chris Letang and everyone else to do that, then don't spend a year, trying to raise the bar so high for yourself in a messed up way. Because now you have the contract and you're not meeting the contract, and it's not going to get any easier in this market. It's just not. And
you know who to blame.
He's 20. He's what, 25, 26 now. He's not a 22-year-old kid who is wishing for mom's home cooking, Ryan.
You know who wanted Elias Pettersson to have that contract signed before the end of the season to prove how much he was cared about the Canucks and the city, and waiting until the end of the season was showed how much he just wanted. All he cared about was he didn't care about the fan base or the organization, and it was all that. He needed to sign now to prove that you love us.
Ryan.
And look what you did. This is all on you, Putty.
Yeah, I mean, this is all on me. And at the same time, who was the person who said, well, throughout the entire year, I'm like, well, if he wants to be paid this money, show up.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, if he wants to keep pushing this down the ladder, and he wants to keep pushing, good, because if he comes out of this playoff run, he's not getting 11.5. No way. No way. They go into negotiations and they're like, you're not getting that. And then in the discussions of seriously talking about considering trading him to Carolina, it's just my problem is now, like, to flip things. My problem isn't that Elias isn't that good of a player. It's that, what is his switch? Where's the switch? What do we have to do? What does Rick Tocchet have to do? What does Adam Foote, Sergei Gonchar, Daniel and Henrik City, what do they have to do to turn it on for this guy?
I don't know, and I don't know if
crazy.
if there was a huge I agree. I agree with the take about line mates, and I put that quote out. I put those ones up, so you don't have to put them back up. I agree that he is not getting line mates. I appreciate you bringing the heat. I did get 3 texts from people not in the chat saying, "Is Arash okay?" So he is okay. I want everybody to be okay, and I appreciate that, because nothing he said is a falsehood. But when you were struggling offensively, and yes, we're having 2 different conversations. It's how do you I'm looking at it as how do you wake up Elias Pettersson in the playoffs? You're having a larger philosophical, what is he? And the Canucks should have buyer's remorse. I know what type of player he is and what he's capable of, and so do you. And I think generally the market does too. It's turning that on. And then you could make that argument that, well, you should be able to put him out there with Jeff Cowan and Sandy McCarthy. God
2
rest his soul.
amazing references for line mates in this scenario. Truly,
and it's true. And it's true. You're true. But when you're putting him out there with Sam Lafferty and Ilya Mikheyev, and Ilya Mikheyev can't do anything, and Ilya Mikheyev can push really hard north, and he can kind of fumble around in the corner behind the net, and he can maybe get the puck out. But there is something internally happening that they have put Elias Pettersson stapled to Ilya Mikheyev for whatever reason, and that is the constant. And I don't know why. I don't know the positives from it. He's there. That line is not generating anything. And when you have, McDavid and Draisaitl split up, and then you kind of need to defend, you kind of need a third line that can go out there and drive the offense when, your Besser and your Sutter and your new top line of Lindholm and Garland and Joshua are resting. That's when you would need an Elias Pettersson to go out there and make something happen. I have no idea why Rick Tocchet is picking the lineups the way he is. I understand the very baseline sentiment of why you can't go lotto line. But if you're just going to make a lineup every night that is going to contain your opponents, I'm starting to notice a concern there. I am starting to wonder if it really was all Predators in the Predators Canucks series, because they took that exact same game plan and they brought it here, and in the games they've lost where they haven't pulled a rabbit out of their ass, it's really looked eerily similar. And it's not pushing for offense. I understand you to be structured, but there comes a time where you need to push the play. And I don't see that. And tonight was a terrifying example of them doing nothing for 40 minutes. As Arash, as you compose yourself, I will say to all those in the chat,
I'm composed. I just no, for people that listen, I'm when I'm yelling like that, it's just because not only am I very passionate, but also I don't think I've went off like that ever before.
It was,
I
liked it.
I just wanted to do it because I've seen so many of my favorite pundits do that. And no more yelling. I'm maybe if I was 25. Ryan,
Arash, 1 second.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat, make sure you are keep the comments coming. Everybody watching on YouTube, if you can give this video a like and maybe hit subscribe if you haven't yet. If you're watching on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, do whatever the hell you do there. And if you're hilariously watching on Facebook, give us a like or whatever there. And check out last night's podcast. Go to our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast from. We had a lot of fun last night. And it's all about cross checks.
It's
And
all about cross checks.
let's lighten the mood really quick with the video.
No,
What do you
real
say?
quick.
Sure.
Can I do something with you? But just to end the PD stuff. Okay. I'm gonna read off some of the highest paid players in the NHL, just real quick. Okay.
Louis
Nathan
Erickson,
McKinnon.
Jay Beagle,
Louis.
Roberto Luongo in his illegal contract.
Yes. Nate McKinnon, 12-6. Connor McDavid, 12-5. Artemi Panarin, 11-6. Austin Matthews, 11-6. Erik Karlsson, 11-5. David Pasternak, 11-2. And then down here, funny enough, was like Carey Price at 10-5. My thing is that I think for every one of those players, maybe, probably Karlsson takes it. They all create by themselves. They don't, like David Pasternak, for all intents and purposes. They had Patrice Bergeron retired, and he had, Charlie Coyle or Pavel Zacha feeding him pucks, and he was still making stuff happen. My argument is that if you want to be in that upper echelon, this argument of blame PD's wingers it's just not, I just don't buy it.
It's not a big enough foundation for that argument. It's got some weight to it, but it's not. It ain't gonna fix him overnight.
I get what you're trying. I get what you're trying to say, but he's not a 22-year-old rookie on a second bridge ELC. Like he's the guy now, and this is the time and where he has to figure out how to be the guy, and he's not being the guy. And like Rick Tocchet just said in his presser, kind of very exasperated. We need five or six guys to get going. I'm not sure if they know it's the playoffs. He includes PD among that group. There are at least half a dozen passengers tonight. Suggest some lineup changes are coming. Like, it's just crazy that we're like your highest paid player. We have to have this discussion with. It's like almost like Kovalevian. Where I'm like, how do we turn him on?
I don't know, but I don't know. You're not setting. I mean, yes, you shouldn't need to set a player up for success, but in the moment, as they're trying to win games and score more goals than the Edmonton Oilers, I wouldn't mind them giving Petey a little change of scenery with line mates, and to, like when you're putting Sam Lafferty out there instead of, I know Big Hog was doing nothing, but even like, and then Linus Karlsson goes to the fourth line. I looked at these lines and I thought, this is a let's contain and hope for a repeat of game 3 mindset. And they almost got it, but it didn't happen. And it just kind of stinks.
Yeah. And so, I can buy the argument with Lafferty and Mikheyev as Lafferty or Hoglander or whomever his line mates are at the time. I can buy that argument if like he legitimately is passing and shooting and engaged and whatever, and it's these two line mates are just not burying the chances. Mikheyev, listen, he hasn't scored in I think like 14 years. I get that, but still at the same time, like I can understand. But you're paid to be that guy.
So be that guy, please.
Be that guy. That's it.
Please, we're asking, please.
Please, I'm begging you to be that guy. But yeah, now it's a best of 3, Ryan. What do you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I felt pretty good about this game. I felt good about the Canucks' chances before the cluster. The cluster comeback finish that they took a 2-1 lead on Sunday night. The Canucks, their structure, there is depth. They played like shit tonight. They have not played this bad all playoffs. Maybe game 2 against maybe game 2 against Nashville was a really bad game, but they played like absolute, pardon my language, but they played like dog shit. And I don't see them play this bad all the time. And they know how bad they played, and they know what they'll need to work on. And I just think what we saw, that this is, if you just enter the game with some confidence and you keep playing the game with some confidence, I think good things might happen to them, but
Mm-hmm.
they entered this game tentative and and delicate, and was it was obvious from the second the game started. And if they can not show up for game 5 like that, they'll be fine. The Oilers have moved their guys around, but for all of the opportunities that they had tonight, it was McDavid and Draisaitl playing on the same line together. They killed those. They were able to hold them to one power play goal, which is shocking. If they can, clue in that they need to attack that offensive zone maybe a little bit more intensely, I think they'll be fine. And
Well,
Calvin
yeah, so, I
Pickard,
mean,
it's Calvin Pickard and it's Stuart Skinner. Just write that on the goddamn whiteboard in the Canucks room. And it's like, you have a goalie that is terrified to play you, and they took them out and they replaced him with a guy that had not played playoff hockey ever and had not had a start
32.
since. Yeah, and he's a journeyman. And like, we're not saying they're bad goalies, but like it's in your the advantage is in your favor. Remember who they are. Remember who you are. Remember who 97 and 29 aren't, who they are, and who the rest of the team aren't, and they are not 29 or 97, and just play. This is still a one-line team. Just play the hockey you know how to play, and don't be chickens about it.
Yeah, they ended the game the way they started for 40 minutes. Like, they tied the game, great, and then that the last minute was like the next 30 seconds was laughable.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the one argument they'll make is that Draisaitl batted it down with a high stick. I mean, okay, all right, whatever. You got to play to the puck. Such an opportunity tonight. That's the thing that completely kind of tortures me, is that, for such an important game for the Vancouver Canucks, they just came out they just came out so flat.
Yeah.
And you talked about it, the adjustments. Like, Oilers made all three of the adjustments they made lineup wise were exactly what they needed to do.
Those adjustments involved Cody Ceci, Calvin Pickard, and putting your players on separate lines to spread out the wealth. Those aren't game changers.
Yeah, and Travis in the chat, one-line team, McDavid and Draisaitl on separate lines. Yeah, okay, tell me about the last 3 games. Thank you.
Yeah, that they shouldn't be a one-line team, but they keep getting.
They're no longer a one-line team, even though they're just on separate lines for like 5 minutes until Chris is like, I have no other ideas. I'm just going to play them. Okay,
Steven in the chat, he was actually at the game and just says no words. He was there for game 3 too, which would have been 6. So
yeah,
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Yeah, so so I'm just really hoping that he does make, like, I just only assumed that Nils is going to be back in. Podkolzin, like, I think just in terms of board battles, man, like, I just put pods in, get some board battles, get some guy, get someone that can physically, understands the system. Not too much offense there, I don't think. But again, in a series like this where, oh, by the way, the one thing we didn't even talk about is Kane. How is Kane not going to get suspended? No, I'm legitimately curious. How does he not get fined or suspended for that cross-check? That was literally, I don't, like, he literally came over, looked him in the eye.
Well, let's talk about another dangerous cross-check from tonight.
And at the end, Corey Perry arrives on the scene. How do you look straight-faced in that? Brock Besser was...
when you're acting or doing improv and you're biting the inside of your mouth to not laugh, that would have been me in Brock Besser's shoes, because that I loved that.
Oh, dude, any little troll job like that. I know people kind of hate Corey Perry and stuff, but it's fucking hilarious. Like,
one thing I noticed,
there's an art with like the greatest trolls in the league, and that's probably why just in some certain cases like Burrows, like, people rubbed him, like, as long as he's on your team, you love it. And as you become kind of more nuanced with this stuff, you kind of understand that there's an art and beauty in the troll job of things. And I thought that was really funny from Corey Perry. I'm impressed that he didn't cross-check Brock Besser. I'm impressed that he just I thought that was like
That's
really
restraint.
funny.
That's restraint
That's
from Mr.
restraint.
Perry.
It's funny. That's just comedy.
Yeah, technically the precedent is has been set with McDavid, so I'd like to hear why. And I don't. Obviously, he's not going to get suspended, but why not? If we're cross-checking people in the face and that's bad, you should be suspended for it. But oh fuck, God damn, that power play just annoyed the shit out of me. And just
Which one?
the double minor.
The double. Oh yeah, it was awful. It was god awful. They just again, this is passenger stuff that Talk is talking about. Like it was so befuddling that for 4 minutes, like Connor Garland needed to come out and be like, I am going to get 3 shots by myself. And it's like at some point, literally in the third, Tocchet starts double shifting him. I'm like, okay, Christ, that this is the thing that it's coming to.
I don't want to butcher your name, Travis. How do you pronounce that?
Just call him
Farquhar,
Travis.
I'm sorry, Travis H.
Just call him Travis.
I clearly an Oilers fan riling up in the chat, but he's being politeful and respectful, so I appreciate that. And Travis brings up a great point. The refereeing was perfect in this game, a complete non-factor. I had no issues with the power. I had no issues with the penalties doled out.
It turns out if you just bring French Canadian refs, it's totally fine. Just don't bring in refs that are from their hometowns, and you'll absolutely be fine within the context of the game. Steve Kuzari and Kelly Zolan, just don't bring them in. And it turns out both fan bases are like, yeah, okay, it's fine. Everyone gets their little chances and stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm now that just the perspective of the series shifts into a best of 3. I mean, this is going to be incredibly tough. This is going to be very difficult for the Vancouver Canucks because if this is within their DNA and they think that they can keep doing the cardiac kid thing, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm a person who picked Oilers in 6, so this is kind of going. Since. Yeah, I know. Everyone's been dunking on me and calling me a traitor, but yeah, it's just I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think within a 3-game series, 2 games in Vancouver, one in Edmonton. What can Tocchet do, Ryan?
What can Tocchet do? I think.
Does he do the any given Sunday speech? When does he break out the any given Sunday speech?
Man, he should have brought it out before this game, and I think he probably. We have no idea what he has done, but it felt like he's like, hey, we know what worked last game. We have our game. We have our strategy. Let's just take care of it. And I don't know. That didn't work. That didn't. They came in like a country club, like it was a preseason game. Mm-hmm. Let's quickly divert sideways. Let's go to the Pucks in Its Sauce line. We have received a call, and let's take a listen.
Hey, this is Roger R. Smith calling from Kitimat. Wow, it's really hard to know how to feel right now. It's game 4. It's everything Arash said was correct, and me watching tonight's game, there was no fight back, and there was very little hitting as far as the Canucks went. And it was very frustrating to watch. It's like, hit somebody. And yeah, I've said it before. I try to be a positive guy, but it's really hard to take positives from tonight's game. Seeloff is probably the biggest positive, but he needs help. I just guess it's just move on to the next game.
Well, that's what you got to do. Let's hang our hats. Let's hang our hats on one. Go ahead, Arash.
So yeah, sorry. My favorite thing about that entire thing is a tweet that I forgot who sent it. It was one of the Canucks pundits, but Archer Shelovs is an RFA.
Oh God. And then he went out and did this, Arash. He went out and did this.
JT Miller still hasn't got a shot this game.
The stones
God.
on this kid, man.
I love that kid so much.
The stone. If they had somehow found a way to win this game, I just feel like there's an Archer shield. I mean, I want the Bouchard goal back.
That's a boost
like
bomb, baby.
That was a Bouch bomb. Play the bomb.
Hey,
There's so many. Like I think like in hockey school, they're gonna show the last minute of that game on how not to play defense. I mean, if it's like Hronek getting bowled over behind the net. By the way, Philip Hronek.
By Kane. Was that by Kane?
Yes.
That's who. Fudge.
But it's like whatever. You're like still at the same time, like I don't think I've ever seen a player's stock like from the beginning, the first half of the season where he was literally with PD and putting up what might have been on pace for 70 points or whatever, to now to being like, oh my God, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if they're like, we'll give you like your qualifying offer plus like 10%. Like, I just don't know. I think when we come out of this, it's Zadorov and it's Zadorov only, and they'll, I always thought it would be like, oh, how do you flip Hronek for another player? But smarter minds than me have just suggested, well, they'll just go and trade him for picks and prospects, and then trade those picks and prospects for a player that they actually want. And then Miller goes and does the big lap and leaves the zone early, leaves Evan Bouchard with space, and it's like, okay, it was a mental.
I think it was a mental loss on so many levels tonight.
They worked hard for 10 minutes, and good for them for tying the game.
Arash,
and then they lost it again.
That's the takeaway I have from the games they lose. They lose one goal. Like the Oilers have not shelled them 6-0 or 5-1 or whatnot. They are losing very close games, and they are losing close games. They're losing 1-goal games to a team that should be beating the shit out of them, and they're doing it when they're playing 15 minutes of a 60-minute game. So that's a positive. Before let me do some housekeeping here. If you want to leave a voicemail like Roger did and share your thoughts, you can call the Sauce line 604-283-9469. Keep it clean, folks. This is a family show. And some comments here. ASDF. I'm looking at my keyboard, and it's got to be a real name. Put Petey with Brock and JT. Petey's current line is useless, so why keep expecting that to change? Petey needs help, and obviously can't generate on his own in these playoffs. Follow-up comment, $11 million player with Dollarama line mates.
I'll just say this one thing. Dollarama is you can find some value there. I'm all about Dollarama, man. You got to go in with money, puck pal. Jonathan Marchessault, Carter Verhaeghe, Riley Smith, all dollar store players.
Yep.
All dollar store players. So let's not give it too much. But yeah, again, it's a frustrating, debilitating loss. Can I read some of the Talkit quotes, Ryan?
Yeah, please do. You sent those to me, and they were very good.
Yeah. So
hang on, I have the first one here.
Yes.
This is Rick Talcott talking about Arash, and he said, "Nah," in regards to your PD rant. So that was very fitting. Carry on.
I am really glad that he found the time to hop into the post-game show right before he went into the scrum to hear me yelling. I'm sorry. I'm just like, PD. This is the problem with Enigma players. It's just you just want them to. Instead of that, you just want this, but not this. You want this. Everyone wants that. That's what $11.5 million players should be paid like. From our friend Thomas Drance, who might have had the tweet of the night by tweeting the Canucks may never lose a game again, and then like a minute later they give up the goal. What a life to live, Drancer. What a life to live. Some quotes from head coach Rick Tocchet of your Vancouver Canucks. We need to get some guys going. We can't win with only 12 guys on the power play. Not good enough. Plus, they know it. On Pettersson, he needs to get going. I don't know what else to say. On the final goal, too many mistakes, too many soft plays. Yeah, good. This is like what more. I think when he comes out and he says he needs to step up. I don't know what else to say. I don't think this is an injury thing. A coach doesn't. He's not going to throw him under the bus if PD's like dealing with a hamstring issue or really wrist issue or something.
Yeah.
And if again, this is crazy. If this comes out and PD's not legitimately dealing with something crazy, I'll ask you, Ryan. Like, does it change your perception of who Elias Pettersson is as a player?
No, he's always been an enigma. He's always been a unique kid that goes through these slumps and overthinks the game. And there's a reason why the term grip it and rip it is so well known in this market. It's because that's what everybody kept telling him to do, and that's what he was telling people. Like, these are very common occurrences, and he hasn't had a stage where the stakes are so high that that these deficiencies were that prevalent. He had a very solid bubble. Josh Barkoff in the chat. He'll be doing audio for our wedding next month. PD, zero playoff experience. Yeah, he had bubble experience, and that wasn't the playoff. So he doesn't have this. This is a kid that mentally.
This is round two.
No, but but okay. Here are all the things that are wrong with it that define this person. Here is everything. Either you adapt with it, or you don't sit and complain about it. You when the season's over, if it's that bad, you trade him. If you have an $11 million player that's supposed to be your franchise and you were too afraid to not re-sign, then you do something to make him an $11 million player. And it's simple as that. But putting him out there and saying, well, here's Mikheyev, who hasn't scored since 1996, and another guy, whether it's Hoglander who's lost in the playoffs, or if it's Sam Lafferty. Sam Haggerty plays for the Seattle Mariners.
I was like,
it's puppy training. You set your players up for success.
He's 26.
Okay.
He's 26.
So you put him on a pedestal of failure?
He was the MVP of the Swedish Hockey League playoffs at 18. He's been in high pressure situations throughout the entire regular season. Ryan, just as a question, did he, like, even seasons before, does he not have these giant lulls and then he shows up and then he goes back to a lull? But so now the issue I'm bringing up is that it's round two. Now, if you're against Nashville, I get it. Okay, that's a lull. Whatever. You're the enigma player. This is round two. We're in game 4. You have one power play goal to really show for it. And my frustration with this is that this is now, like, at the age of 22, 23, yeah, the valleys are big and the dips are big and you're trying to figure stuff out. At 25, 26 now, we're going to start talking about Elias Pettersson. He's 27. He's 28. And now we're getting into the Mitch Marner situation where it's like, okay, now you've been paid and now you're getting into your 30s, and what are you? And you are kind of what you are. And that's the frustration that's coming
We
out.
should have waited. This market shouldn't have bullied him into signing a contract.
I can't. To all those bullies.
This is what this is all your fault. And I'm glad you know that.
You know what? Everything is my fault. I know Rick Tocchet listens to the show. I know.
Right,
I know Jim Rutherford swears and dies by my word.
You know what? He's not. Put him with some different players. Maybe he drives the play with that. Maybe he creates something with different players. But he's not creating with the guys he's got. I need to go to the chat. Ryan out there wearing his anti-bullying shirt. Thank you very much. It's a longtime gal pal asked out Roger, which we appreciate. He is a gentleman. Stoked on him.
Have people seen Roger in a suit? Because
follow Cool Indian 101 on Twitter.
Cool Indian 101 on Twitter.
Steven, from the game, Oiler fans are buffoons. There was a guy beside us at the game so drunk he fell face first over 2 rows and almost killed a little boy. Yeah, I've been to games in Alberta like that. And then Jay Het in the chat. there's just never a scenario where rushing contracts midseason is the right move. And man, not knocking that one right now. Let's go back to the sauce line. I believe a cult leader has called in. So let me get that call up here and let's take a listen.
Hey, it's Arthur Shelob's cult leader here. Tough way to end it. Evan Bouchard with an absolute bomb, but I still have faith. You know, those sacrifices went really well. There was this one goat, Leon, was a bit pissy. We had to get rid of it quick. But anyway, yeah, not too much to say. We didn't show up for a decent bit. You got rebound in Game 5.
And that's it. You got a rebound in Game 5.
Yeah.
Arash, I think on that note, we'll wrap up our audio portion of the podcast, and then we'll open the lines up for one.
Oh my God, we've
couple
already
calls.
been doing this for 53 minutes.
Oh yeah, we got a rant about Elias Pettersson one way. We need to do something dumb during the show or while we're still recording. So we'll say goodnight. Canucks lose 3-2 to the Edmonton Oilers, despite a last ditch effort and a late comeback and a flurry that was just dumb as hell to watch unfold. And Evan Bouchard getting the game winning goal. Game 5 comes on Thursday night, and that's cool. But we'll see how
that'll be nice.
We'll see how the Canucks rebound, and we'll go from there. And let's hope that there's some adjustments.
We're still going to be on. We're just going to hop off the audio and go and record our listeners and stuff. So we're going to be good. Oh, what a time. People living vicariously through my screams. Oh, well, I hope you guys sleep tonight.
There is one dumb thing we need to do while we're on the air and before you hit stop on your record.
Yep.
Okay, you have to go back to timeanddate.com.
What? Why?
Because I had to restart my recording mid-show so I can sync it up this way. For those watching,
there was one moment where I had to stop my recording and I didn't tell Ryan, and I felt really bad about it because it wasn't synced up. So just to let you know, I'm not perfect and I make mistakes.
Yes,
even though that was the only mistake I can really think of in the 34 years I've been alive. But we do make a mistake from here to there. Okay, Ryan, you ready?
Every before we record, we have to sync ourselves up so I can.
Oh my
edit
God,
them
are
together.
we doing this live?
Yeah, we're doing it live. So we've been doing it as long as Arash has been on the show. We've been recording it this way. This is how we do it. So Arash, we're gonna count down to 10:23:30.
Okay.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
That's
all right, everybody.
How good we are. That is how good we are.
All right. We'll say goodnight to everybody on the audio podcast. If you want to get a call in and share your thoughts, the link is in the chat. And we can stop our recordings here, Rash.
Got it, pal. We done it. It's good. It's done. What a time to be alive. Truly, madly, deeply.
Arash, that is your placeholder line you like to say now. I've really noticed that.
Truly, madly, deeply?
No, you say them together.
Yeah, how do I say it?
You say, what a time to be alive. Truly, madly, deeply.
Yeah, I'm neurodivergent, man. I got some tics in me that I just say. It's pretty funny. I would love if one of our listeners wrote down all my tics so I would know what they are. And I'd just be like, look at all these crazy things that I'm saying. Here, we'll do that. Okay, Ryan.
Somebody calling in?
I think so.
Oh, there we go. It's our pal Joe. Let's go to the phones. Joe, how are you? Welcome back.
Oh, I'm frustrated, man. I mean, good grief. I mean, how hard is it to stand in a goal and block a rubber puck? I'm sure Arez could have done it. I mean, Arez, you got to keep yelling, man, because, oh my goodness, that was just frustrating. I mean, you've got some politicians up there like Bowen Ma and Brad West who could literally have stood in that net, or better still, have actually done this incredible thing called put shots in the goal. I mean,
shots on the goal or pucks on net?
Pucks,
preferably pucks in the net, baby. I mean, give me a flippin' break. I mean, this, I'm like, the puck was just flying around out there, and it was like nobody knew where to guys are so overpaid for what they do. They're just overpaid. I
Yeah.
mean, you should just get some politicians that want some civic pride and want to win the election in November down there. I mean, we all know Bull and Bob already would have hit those climate arsonists. And
I
kicked
love
their
Bull and
butts.
Bob.
Listen, I'll say this thing about our politicians. We got one planet. We got one planet, baby. All I'm saying. Yeah, Joe knows. We only got one planet. Put your money where your mouth is.
Joe, what's your prediction for Game 5? What do you think is going to happen?
I think Canucks are going to find that they're going to have to play a whole 60 minutes and they're going to win it 3-2. It might help if you got rid of the Mariners hat because the Mariners don't do so well.
Hey, they lost tonight, but they won yesterday.
Okay. But
that was the best sell job I've ever heard in my life. Being like, well, they won tonight. Okay.
Joe, we appreciate your commentary. Thanks for calling in. We hope to hear you for Game 5. Thank you very much.
oh, you will. Thanks.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, dude. That was
Awesome.
Ryan. That
I
was
love Joe.
so good. Dude, Joe's sick.
Joe's the man.
Joe wants to save our planet and keep the Seattle Mariners accountable.
Hey, come on. Let's not.
What?
Let's
Ryan, I love Julio.
Julio
Do
is
you
the
know-
Elias Pettersson of that team. You would be.
Ryan,
goodness.
do you want to know what I have a little thing for you? Do you know what I've bookmarked in my toolbar just for you? It's a
Seattle.
Ken Griffey. It's a specific Ken Griffey Jr. card
Yeah.
that looks like a Pokemon card, and it's by Topps, and it was released in 2021.
Huh.
I'll send it to you right now. Just see, and I put it in because I'm like, oh, you know what? If and when I ever have money again, I'm gonna buy this. Oh wait, I'm gonna buy this for Ryan. Here, I'll remove for everyone. And then I'll send it over to you, and you're gonna be like, "That looking so good." Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Good little, outlook from Joe. Thinking about it, it's gonna be 3-2. We're gonna get some pucks on net and stuff. The more that you reduce the sample size from 7 to 3 to eventually maybe 1 with 2 of the best players in the world, it becomes more and more terrifying, right? As we can go on. And it's why it was so important for tonight for them to come out of the gun actually prepared to play.
Before we take our next call, my friend Sam, who is helping work, a key member of the Vegas Stag, randomly without context sent me this photo. I think on her walk. And I just think it's incredible. That's a Mitsubishi crossover, duct taped together and all over the place. Is this the Vancouver Canucks or is this the Edmonton Oilers?
I don't think that's it. There's a funnier topical joke about this.
All right, you think about it. Let's go to the phone lines here.
Yeah.
Steven, you survived? You survived the game?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go back to another game for a while because, the harassment is something else.
Wow. Yeah.
I
can only imagine.
I was seeing some guys with Canuck jerseys in the moss pit, and I was nervous for our kind.
Yeah.
What was the experience like? Were people dicks?
There's actually a lot of Canucks fans there. There's a lot of jerseys. I'd say 80% Oilers, 20% Canucks, which is actually not bad.
That's cool.
Yeah. The last game I went to, so I went to the game, what was that, on Tuesday? No, today's Tuesday.
Sunday,
yeah. And there was quite a few Canucks fans in my section, so I had some support, which was nice.
Yeah.
But today it was a lot of Oilers fans around me.
And it's not like one of our players just cross-checked Connor McDavid in the face. So why would they be mad at you?
Yeah, I still have no sympathy for that after the Hughes call or the Hughes non-call though.
Sure, yeah.
No sympathy for McDavid. I was just going to call and say harp on Pettersson. Something that's been bugging me for the last like all the playoffs, I guess, is last year Pedersen was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to sign with the Canucks. I want to be on a winning team." And now he's at the big show and he does fuck all. Like, is he just like riding on other players' coattails, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that was his thing. Like, oh, I want to be on a winning team. Okay, now you're on a winning team. What are you doing?
Isn't it really funny from a specific perspective that the entire when we first got into the year, it was almost like he was trying to play 3D chess by saying, I want to be on a good team, thinking that the team wasn't going to be good again. And then the team's good. And he's like, ah, shit. Uh-oh. And then he signed. See, so that's the thing. It's that when you, and maybe, when you kind of raise the bar for yourself and you put yourself above and say, well, I need to be on, listen, I'm Elias Pettersson. I'm the guy, right? And the team and the organization has to be good, and because you're graced by my presence. And now he got the contract, he got the bag, he got everything, and arguably he wasn't even the best player on his team this season. That was probably Quinn Hughes, and I mean the three-way tie with Hughes, Pettersson, or Hughes, Miller, Demko. And now again we're in round 2. Steven, just like thoughts about if at the end of this it comes out that Petey's like relatively healthy, does that skew your vision of what we all what you at least thought Elias Pettersson?
Well, something you said earlier in the show was if they hadn't signed him, he'd be worth a lot less after this playoffs. And I'm like, oh my God, Arash is so right. We probably made a bad decision. Like, we were all excited, yeah, Pettersson signed, and now we're like,
that was me. That was my fault. I literally for like 6 months told everyone he needs to sign. He needs to sign. He needs to sign. It's my fault.
And also, it's your fault you weren't in the alley tonight.
Oh fuck!
That's
Everyone's
true.
No, KK. Can I be honest with something? And I'm just gonna say it now. I definitely turned off the game at 2-0. I went upstairs with Katie and I said, I every time for whatever reason I watch the games, they fuck up. So I'm just gonna try the juju. And I tried changing the juju, went upstairs, watched Grey's Anatomy, it's 2-2.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I looked at Katie and I told her, I'm like, I can't fucking turn the TV on. She's like, do you want me to turn the game on? I'm like, no, I can't turn the game. I can't. And then it was 3-2, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's not me. My ego is crushed.
I've literally done that, and it works like 60% of the time. The Canucks will be down, and I'll turn off the TV, and I'll just like watch on the Sportsnet app. And man, it works like 60%.
Oh yeah, I love going to the smaller device. Like, screw this, it doesn't get my full attention anymore.
Well, one time I turned the TV off, and then I went to bed. I'm like, well, I'll just like pay attention on my phone. I look at the Sportsnet app. It's 2-2 or something like that. I go to the live feed. Instantly, the other team scores. I'm like, fuck, why did I turn on my phone?
Steven, how old are you?
36.
Perfect. So this is the thing. When we get into our 30s, we're like, okay, I can't fucking go to the doctor with this fucking high blood pressure shit. I just gotta turn the game off and I'll just refresh. And if something good happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And if something bad happens, whatever. I just can't watch it on the TV as it's happening.
Right now, I'm just like super nervous or nerve-wracked about like going into the next game. Like my thing is, I live in Edmonton and I have like lots of Oiler friends. I can't let the Oilers win because then I'll never hear the end of it.
Oh,
well,
buddy.
I mean, when Dallas sweeps them, whoever wins this into the next round, then you got that. But no, it's an annoyance, and it brings the absolute most annoying traits out of the fan base of both teams involved. But hey, it's only 2-2 right now, and if they can play maybe 45, 50 minutes, maybe 55 minutes, maybe damn their whole game, it might be a completely different story. But yeah, going into that, it's not the most fun.
Steven, I'll say this one thing before we head off. It's that every time we've written this team off, they've somehow figured out a way.
Yeah.
And I think we need to take any prior understandings or skepticisms we've had from previous organizations and previous managements and teams and squads from the last decade, and we just need to learn that like that is not what this specific team is. It's going to be a hard road. It's best the best out of 3, but I'd also love to learn just from your perspective, like being in Edmonton, what do you think like the key part of the animosity is between Oilers and Canucks fans? It's like someone who lives in the province, like we're trying to pinpoint what exactly it is.
All right. Well, you know what? I don't really know. I think they Oiler fans basically hate everybody except maybe the Jets.
Nobody
and the
hates
Bruins.
the Jets. Name me one person who hates.
Yeah, nobody hates the Jets.
Hates the Jets.
Well, I've been saying this for years. Oiler fans are like cousin brothers to the Leaf fans. Like they both think they have the number one player in the world. They both brag about cups they won eons ago. There's a few more on my list, but they're basically Leaf fans.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure,
I
100%.
have a take that I've been talking about for the last couple of days, and I want to hear what you guys think. I feel like this series doesn't really matter because whoever comes out of it, I think the Avs or Dallas are going to destroy them. Like the Dallas or the Avs are going to like destroy Edmonton's weak defense, and they're like, I mean, whatever you want to call their goaltending situation. And I mean, the Canucks haven't been able to handle the Avalanche like all season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the Canucks might have a little bit of a chance against Dallas because like we have had better luck against them in the regular season, but I don't know. I don't think either of these teams are making it past the third round.
Stephen, we appreciate your call and that take, and then we'll discuss this on the other side.
Right.
But I know your arm's probably getting tired from holding up in the kitchen, so
Right.
we'll talk about this and after we say goodbye to you. But thanks for calling and thanks for surviving Rogers Place.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's
we've talked about this. So, Ryan, like I don't know if have you been keeping up with what's been going on in the Central Series and injuries?
I mean, players left the game
they're-
injured, but I don't know of anything too drastic right now.
So, I was thinking about this morning because I popped in. I'm like, oh my god, the Canucks are relatively healthy, and Demko is actually coming back. And I thought, okay, if Edmonton goes into round 3, I just think systems wise they get shellacked. If the Central teams are healthy or whatever. But now I'm like, so Dallas, Rupe Hintz left in the third period, didn't come back. Chris Tanev left in the third period, didn't come back. Colorado, Valeri Nikushkin is in the player assistance program stage 3, so he's not going to be back for 6 months. Devon Taves didn't play in the game, and all these things are wrapping up, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a path being made here to either Boston, Florida, Carolina, Rangers, and that's like, I'm not going to call the Canucks off. I think they'll find a way to make this series interesting. Fuck you. He puts it up just as I'm like, I believe in the Canucks. Boom, Oilers in 6. I just can't.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I think the Oilers have this in the bag, Ryan. That's what I have been.
That sounds
saying.
about right.
That sounds about right.
Apologies.
What do you think, Ryan?
What do I think about what?
Whatever team goes to, or if the Oilers go into the next round, they're getting shellacked by either Dallas or.
It's whoever's the healthiest. There's the Canucks match up well against Dallas, but they're the underdogs by a long shot, and the Oilers would absolutely get decimated by Dallas because they have 4 lines. They have a solid goaltender. They have a great defense, and they have just a lot of talent. So this is this is two incomplete teams playing each other in the second round right now. It's hard to say.
Nice.
I
We'll
think
see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. I want to appreciate we want to say we really appreciate the callers that called in. If you're watching this and you haven't yet, please give us a like and a follow and a subscribe.
We have one planet, as Joe says. Let's take care of it, people. Let's take care of it. Don't leave your trash around.
And just, I think it's important you hang your hats on the positive, as I'm doing. Through Wednesday, through tomorrow at work, and through Thursday. The Canucks are barely losing 1-goal games against the Oilers in very incomplete efforts on their part. If this is a team that Tocchet can convince to play a more complete game and to play an entire 60 minutes, I think it's going to be a much different story. But that they have to start with playing it. So there's a lot of positives here. There's still Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner in net. And for those dooming and glooming, the Canucks aren't going to win every single game. There are peaks and valleys in the playoffs. It's really nice if they could step on the neck and win these series in 5, but it ain't going to happen every time. Focus on the positives. Focus on the fact that they came back in the way they did. And don't dwell on anything in the past or dread something coming forward.
Yes, sir.
But for the Prince Pomegranate, for Arash from Mars today, my name is Ryan Schapp, and we'll see you on Thursday after the Game 5. In the meantime, go watch yesterday's brand new podcast, which is very good, and go interact with us on all our social media, and buy a t-shirt. And if you don't know what they look like, there's a photo in the podcast yesterday. Time to cue up the sassy saxophone. Good night, everybody.